Hello guys, I'm going to share with you 3 simple steps in order to improve your drawings like crazy. So let's get started. And here we have this drawing by Emily, which is looking super well here in the shape design, deconstruction, and study from this one over here. And what I'm going to do right now is share some beautiful notes about gesture drawing and some thought process behind how is that I approach this. Cool? So let's get started. Tuki. Oop. Let's see. So when I approach gesture drawing, I try to feel like I am massaging the figure. I am trying to find the character within a cloud of rhythms that I'm going to draw and trying to subtly find those rhythms that creates the character. For example, this shape that we created here as a consequence of drawing rhythms is telling me something like this. While on the character itself, I'm seeing so many other things, some beautiful things like some subtlety, some elegance here on the shoulders. We're having a little twist because this arm is moving towards the front. Here at the hips, we're having another twist because of this leg also moving towards the front. So this character feels like it's dancing. So as well as the character feels like it's dancing, I'm going to try to draw in the same way, trying to create lines. So my lines feel it's dancing too, like with my character. And look at that. Let's just analyze these 2 lines that I just drew. And this is the concept about directional lines. It's like these lines, these directions, these lines that have some direction in itself represent the forces and the rhythms that exist inside of the character. And one directional line is going to lead towards the next one. And the next one is going to lead and create the next one. So imagine it's like a roller coaster that is going all the way around because all the parts of the characters all the parts of the character are connected. So here we're having something like this. Look at that. Boom. And it's super, super, super elegant. I can feel how this is pushing forward, how this is also pushing forward here and going all the way around to create these hips. And now with this, we have 2 options. Either we keep this in a very organic way like this, or we can translate this into a flower sack. And how is that a flower sack looks like? Let me change colors here for you. If I were to put a flower sack on top of this will look something like this, Tuki. This will look something like this too. Opa, 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 here. Tuki. Boom, boom, boom. And we have here the side part of this flower sack. And here we have this arm doing this other arm doing that, this leg doing this, and this other leg doing something like this. Look at that. So we simplify the torso with this idea of the flower sack. I'll continue with the rough pass, but just to keep you in mind what happens inside of my head when I'm drawing these rhythms, because I'm already planning to create. Now I want a purple. I'm planning while I draw the gestures. How is that this is going to look once I add shapes on top of this. So now what other thing we have? We have the leg. We have the leg going towards the front. And here I'm going to grab any of these rhythms. I have these 3 main rhythms here. And right now that I want to draw the arms, the legs, all the limbs, I'm trying to figure out how is that I can use this cloud of rhythms that exist, which is this torso, to attach from any of this to create the arms, to create the legs. So in this case, I'm going to use this rhythm over here and create this leg over here. So we have this rhythm going this way, then we're having the knee going that way, and then we're having the lower part of the leg going this way, poop all the way here towards the base. Awesome. And then I can draw here a plumb line. I can draw a plumb line here even at the back part of this torso to figure out where is this leg over here is going to be placed. Now, same thing in my head. I have these 3 main rhythms, 1, 2, 3. Which one of these can I use to attach the leg so the character feels connected and I can preserve the flow of the character? So I'm going to grab from this rhythm over here all the way down, boom, and then this main directional line there is going to give me boom this other leg. Now, looking back at this again, I can see like, oh, okay, this leg will be around here. Beautiful. Bam, there you go. And then we have this one over here. And then I try to draw another plumb line from here to figure out where is going to be the length of this leg. Oh, you know what? It's not there. So it's a little bit over here. So it's an exploration process where I try to flow with it. Flow, don't overthink too much. Flow and trying to draw all of these shapes. Boom, boom, boom. Amazing, awesome. There you go. Now, what else do I need? Let me move this a little. Nah, forget about it. Now, what else do we need? The arms. Let's figure out how is that I can connect the arms with these rhythms. From here to here, I can grab this rhythm and going all the way down. Boom. And this rhythm of the shoulder is going to create another one here, all the way here towards the elbow. And from the elbow, we're going to release that energy. Okay. We're going to release this energy. Oopsie. We're going to release this energy, boom, all the way here. We add a bouncing ball here to represent this arm, this hand, and look at how all of this energy, boom, is going in different ways here on the fingers. Bam, 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 bam. Awesome. Now I'm going to grab this energy over here, boom, and grab and create this other arm, this other rhythm of the arm. Boop. And then we can attach the prop. We can attach the prop. Tuku, tuku, tuku. And then we go like this, taka, 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 tuku, tuku, tuku. And then from here to here, boom, all the way up, all the way up. I'm flowing. I'm grabbing from these rhythms and boom, creating this other rhythm here for the head. And I'm trying to look at the angles of the head, the proportions, and poop, we have the head around here. Awesome. Now this is the level of gesture drawing that represents the amount of information that this character, that this reference, that this other drawing here have. And our duty here, our work here, is to look at the character itself. Look at the character and trying to see through the clothes, through the drapery, through all the props that we have around, and find all of those rhythms, all of those gestures with the correct proportions, using plumb lines. And sometimes we're going to push some stuff a little bit more, or we can fix, for example, here the leg. I want it to be around here. Boop, easy fix. And I'm just using darker lines to create those fixes over there. Boom, beautiful. What is the next step? The first step is a gesture pass, which is something like this. And the next step is to start drawing form, is to start drawing the perspective, the construction of the characters. How is that I do that? First of all, let's be aware of the box that exists around the character. So here I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to draw a line, for example, here, another line here. And with these two lines, boom, as a consequence, I have a box. And this is the easiest way to draw a box. In order to draw a box, we only need these three lines. 1, 2, 3. And then this is going to have a parallel here. This is going to have a parallel here. This is going to have a parallel here. And this is going to have a parallel here. Boom. And boom, for example, another box this way. Parallel, poop. Parallel, poop. Parallel, poop. Parallel, poop. Parallel, parallel, poop, parallel, poop. Cool? So same thing here. I did these three lines, tuki, 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 and then the other ones will be parallel of this one. And now I can do the same here on this drawing that I did here. And I can already see some improvements that I can do on my character compared to the reference, because this box that I'm going to draw around the character will also work as plumb lines. But now we're thinking in 3D. Cool. So now that I have that box, I'm going to reduce opacity to view. I'm going to use another brush. It's blue. And let's start drawing the construction of the character. First, let's start with the torso. So here we have the torso. We have the torso here. Boom, going all the way like this. Boom. And we have, oopsie. So we have something like this, like this. We have something like this, doom, and here, doom, like this. But now, the other thing that I'm going to do, in knife drawing, when we're doing knife drawing, it's normal that sometimes we like to simplify this as like the torso, center line, rib cage, then the hips, and then this, and then we try to connect this in this way. But the thing about doing this stuff is that the character starts to feel disconnected and very robotic, like a mannequin. But when we're doing animation, one of the most important things about animation is to keep the flow, of the character, so the character feels connected. And when we're animating the character, we're not animating one piece like this, that is like this. No, we're animating the character, everything feels connected. We're animating the character as a whole, not just one individual part in each frame, but as a whole. So Look at the difference of this shape, of this form that I did here versus this one over here. This one over here have some subtleties, and this subtlety that I did here is that I'm drawing this line going here towards camera, and this one over here away towards camera in this axis, in that direction. Why? Because I'm leaving here a very important note for myself in the future, which is going to be, hey Henry, where is the turning edge? And the turning edge will be somewhere around here, because I leave that separation between this line that is going towards camera and this line that is going away from camera. Cool? So then here we can draw the hips. I like to draw like this type of cylinder, circular shape here. And same way here, to represent how much the character is tilting forward, backwards. Now, as soon as I draw these things, I like to boom, 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 convert this into a square, into a box. Why? Because the box have more information that I can use to start placing stuff around this. Now, second step, deciding, Henry, decide what is that you want to work on right now. The legs, the arms, whatever. I want to work on the legs. So this is the panties. This is the panties trick. From this point to this point, I calculate like one third from here to here, and I add another point there. And I draw around, I draw through, I draw around and around and around and around and around. And from here, I start extruding the form, the shapes of the leg. Now, if we have here a curve line, guess what we're going to have on the other side? On the other side, we're going to have a straight. Boom. And here, by adding these opposites, here is that we're starting to design the character. We're starting to add all these design principles into the character. Then here, I think the character is very simplified, so no need to add here this shape for the leg, although I can if I want to add more anatomical landmarks. But for the type of character that we're working on right now, I can just continue that way, connecting these pieces together. And now here I can fix a little bit and move this leg a little bit towards this side. Boom. And here, guess what? Tapering towards the bottom. And here I can connect these two lines into one single line like this. Into something like this. Cool. And then this one over here. Look at the apex of this line. So the line have, this is a line and this is a line, right? But this line have a specific angle, and this other one have another angle. This is like 90 degree, and this is like, I don't know how the number of that degree, but that have a certain degree. But now, what is the angle of this curved line? Yeah, curved lines also have angles, and the angle of that curved line is this. The angle of this curved line is this. So it's like if I were to put a curved line on top of this, it's something like this. So when I see this line over here, I'm thinking like, oh, you know what? I feel like the apex of this line is around here. And what is the apex of a line? So if I have this straight line over here, Tuki, and I execute and I apply some force here, this line is going to start, this force, this line is going to start going this way, and we can say that these have an applied force of like 80%, of like 20%. But if we have a line like this, what is the percentage of applied force that would you think we have on this line? This is like an 80. Now look at a curved line like this. This is like a 100. Bam, 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 and look at that craziness over there. Now, if we're aware of that, we're going to call this specific part of the belly of the line that is going to be a pushed by some force as an apex. So if I'm going to consider having more control over my curved lines, I can change that apex into having that apex on the top. I can have this apex on the top. I can have this apex on the bottom, something like this. And that will allow me to avoid creating symmetrical shapes like I did here. But instead, I can add this apex, this applied force towards the top. So we have this beautiful asymmetrical shape here that is directing my eye all the way here towards the bottom. Boom. And then here, the subtleties of this leg. And I'm always using just three type of lines, CSI. Look at that. Cool? I think I can make this better. Cool, a little bit larger. Boop. Awesome. Then we have the leg over there. Let's go to the other one. I can go and draw through, or just grab from this same rhythm and work on top of the rough pass that I did. And same thing, if I have a curve here, on this other side I'll have a straight, and on this other one I'll have a curve. And here I can put a straight that I can slowly massage and make it a little bit more curvy, but still have is more straight than this one over here. And then on the leg, we can draw the leg into something like this. Cool, beautiful. So there you go. We have the structure, the form of the character here. This leg a little bit more thick. And this is how I deconstruct the character, how I see through, how I see inside of this reference that I have. And I can do some adjustments here. For example, the length of the leg, it could be a little bit towards like this. Tuki. And moving stuff is, if I want, I can totally redraw this stuff. Now that I have that observation, now that I am seeing that, I can totally problem solve that. Tuk. And look, because I already problem solve, as I mentioned, I can totally save some time and be faster with these adjustments, because all the design things that I thought about are already on my head, are clear in my head, so I can just fix here. Cool. So now let's go with the arm. So with the arm, we have the shoulder here. Boop, we have the shoulder, and then we have the arm that goes all the way like this, Tuki, and then we have this go all the way like that. So what we how we feel this with a straight here, and then here, if this is a C, we can put here an S. So we have two options to choose from. It's like you either have you have these three type of lines, C, S, I, and everything turns super simple when we just play with this. If we have a C on this side, we can either put a straight here, or we can play with an S. Okay, everything in order to create shapes that looks something like this, shapes that looks tapered. And why is that we're looking to this type of shapes? And because we want to avoid this type of shapes over here, which are symmetrical. And if we want to do this, then we're going to have a purpose behind that. Otherwise, then we're just filling the gaps without knowing why we're doing that. Cool. So let's go back to this drawing over here. So let's add the arm, and I am admiring. Feel free to feel free. It's like admire the drawings that you have in front of you. Look at this rhythm going all the way up and then going all the way down. Look at that subtlety. Boom, boom, that elegance. So I'm going to try and do the same thing here. And I'm not going to even look at the reference, because I want to feel this. I want to feel this. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. Oof. Look at that beautiful flow. And then from here, I can totally add more fingers. I don't know, where's the thumb? Somewhere around here on the reference, maybe. Let me something around here. And then we can break down these shapes. We can add more fingers here. But with that single shape that I created here was enough for me to start figuring out where these rhythms are going. Boom. Okay, cool. All the way there. Almost there. Almost there. But we're going to work on this character as we move forward step by step. We do the gesture, we're doing the construction, the form, and eventually we're going to start designing shapes. So here, boom, from here to here, one single line, and from here to here, a straight line, and maybe here an S to create this elegance here at the forearm. Beautiful. And then we have the hand, which is going to be something like, I feel like this is going to be a little bit higher. Something like this. Tuki, tuki, tuki. Oof. Something like this. And then here we have the prop. Let me put some more effort here on the prop. Tuki. Tuki. There you go. Tuku. Tuk. 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 Beautiful. Now what else do we need here? The neck and the head. So neck and the head, something like this. And see how I am trying to make one more curvy than the other one. This is a little bit more straight, so I still have all of this energy boom going there on the head. And then for the head, I know that the reference is a little bit blurry, but this is a good opportunity for us to visualize stuff by our own without relying on the reference. So here we have the lumiset, we have the sphere, center line, and see how I'm drawing around here. We have the side plane. The side plane, we can draw a center line here, and this divide this in half. So we're having the eye line. We're having the eye line here, and then this point here and this point here is going to give me the attachment of the jaw. So I can attach the jaw here and play super subtle with the with the lines. And here this is an S, this is a C, this is a straight, and then on top of this I can add these shapes over here. And I cannot, I can avoid thinking too much about these shapes and just adding some basic shapes like a sphere here, another C line here, and then look at all this energy that is going around here and going around this way. Boom, beautiful. And then what is happening over here? We're going like this, and we're going like this, and all the way like that. Look at that beautiful drawing over there. Now we have the form, we have the structure, we have the turning edge, we have the center line. What else do we need to do here? Let's start adding, and I think I pushed too much this now that I'm looking at the reference, but it's okay because I'm learning from this. I'm learning from this from this study that I'm doing here. What I'm going to do right now is to start designing the shapes of the character. So I'm going to reduce the opacity of this to get something like this, and then I'm going to start designing the shapes. So let's grab a darker color here. And here, for example, I can draw around here. I can draw around here to place this. Well, the boobs will be on top of this rib cage here. Boom. And because I have this center line, if I would like to draw this shape in the middle of this part of the dress, I can do that knowing where's the center. Here, the shoulder, something like this. The arm going that way. Now, if I want to draw this drapery around here, look at how I can go around this arm, Tuki, and start designing these shapes on top of this proper construction that I drew here, Tuki. And then here we're going like this. Look at that beautiful shape. And then here we have, look at that S here. Boom, look at that beautiful S. Wow. And now what else? Here we have the cloth, the sleeve of this is going to be a little bit thicker than the arm. So I'm adding that volume here. I'm adding that volume, and as soon as I get to this point, I draw around here and simplify these lines into something like this. Look at that. Look at that shape there. Then here we go this way, and here we go this way over here. Beautiful. Now let's go down. The dress. So the dress, let me move this a little bit towards the inside, something like this. Boom. Look at this dress here. And I'm going to start with the big shapes and then start with the smaller shapes. So from here to here, we have something like this. There you go. And then from here to here, look at how I'm drawing around. I'm not just doing this line like this, but I'm drawing around. And then from here to here, we have something like this, a straight line here. And then look at this fold. It's going this way towards the inside. So I'm drawing around, and then we're going all the way there again. So here, took an S. And then here, we're dividing this into 3 shapes. One bigger and the other 2 smaller. Boom, something like this. And then I draw around. Beautiful. And then I connect this rhythm between these 2. Awesome. And then this other one here. Again, I'm drawing around, boop, and then I'm going up. Something like this. And then here, going around, and connect these 2. Boop, something like this. Beautiful. So we designed the dress. Now, here these 2 lines are overlapping each other, so that I'm going to leave a space here. I'm going to leave a space between the leg and the dress. Because I see this little gap here, this little tuki. So I'm going to leave that here too. And then we go like that, tuku. And then I'm going to fix the position of the foot. And I like to draw the base of the foot, and on top of the base of the foot, I can draw the leg into something like this. Cool. I feel it's looking a little bit towards this way, so I'm going to fix that. So let's tuki tuki tuki. Tuku, tuku. And from here to here, one line all this way towards the front. Beautiful. Now what we have here? We have this leg here, and I'm drawing on top of my gesture pass. I'm drawing on top of my gesture pass. Here, I can simplify all of this into an S. So we go all the way with a beautiful rhythm here on the heel. And from the heel, we have an S all the way to towards the toes. And then here we have something like this. Okay, and then I can get rid of this overlapping line, because we don't want to show information that we're not intended to show. I don't want to show like this leg is pointing that way. This leg is flat that way. Cool. Awesome. What else? Here we have something here, I see. Yeah, boop, and see how I am trying to tilt. Look at what I did first with eyeballing. This is the center line, but I draw this pointing this way. So that is the reason that I'm drawing these lines. I'm not drawing lines just to draw lines, but every line that I'm drawing down have a purpose, and it's directing my eyes and feeling some gaps of information. Boop, there you go. We have something like this. And then I'm trying to design, even without looking at the reference, because I cannot see clearly on the reference. But see why I designed this shape like this? Because inside of this, I see this dynamic shape over here that I like to call the volcano. Because if we have a volcano like this, super symmetrical, the lava that will come out of this is going to be boring. It's not going to have a lot of energy and force. But if we draw a volcano like this, imagine the lava that is going to go out of it. It's going to be crazy. So I'm trying to design those type of shapes everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Look at that. Tuku, 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 tuku. Volcano here, tuku. Volcano here, tuku. Volcano here, 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 volcano here. So everything is an explosion of rhythms that exist inside of the character, and and creating dynamic shapes like this allows you to control the eye of the audience and direct the eye of the people that is looking at your drawings like crazy. It's like you're the director. You have a lot of power over the people that is looking at your art if you know how to control and use shapes properly. Cool. So here we drew this, and then here we have, for example, we can see this little part of the hip there, which I went too much towards that side. It's a little bit more straight. So yeah, I can totally fix that. I can open this part of the dress a little bit more this way. Tuki, 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 tuki. Oopa. There you go. And then here I can reduce the amount of hips that I'm showing here. Tuki. There you go. And then from here to here, we go all the way down. Oof, beautiful. Look at that rhythm over here. Dang. And this rhythm here is pointing out us towards the head, towards the face. Look at that. Everything is guiding us to look at where? To look at the head, to look at the face, the expressions of the character. And not only that, everything is also flowing around into what she's doing. She's interacting with this prop over here. So everything, all the poses connected between each other. Cool. I want to be more subtle here because I think I went a little bit too off here, Tuki. Something like this. And then, okay, now I want to do something different from what I did on my rough pass, so I can totally do that. Boom. Single line this, Tuki. Single line that. And then I will just fill the gaps with my shape design knowledge into something like this, Tuki. And then here, let me keep this into one single rhythm, and here just our finger like this. Cool. Awesome. And then here on top of this, I think this should be a little bit higher. Yeah, the arm goes a little bit up. Something like this. Awesome. And then from here to here. Beautiful. And then here we have the hand. And then here on top of this, I'm going to start adding the drapery. Poop. Poop. Somewhere around there. And then from here, Tuki. And then here, Tuki. Awesome. And then here we have this prop that goes around. It's looking that way. So every pass that I'm doing with my drawing is an opportunity to improve the clarity of itself. Boom. Awesome. And then we go to the head. Same thing, all these volcanoes. And then from here to here. Look at this shape of squash in here. Beautiful. Look at this tapered shape here too. Beautiful. And then we can add the little subtleties that we are seeing on the drawing on top of that simple shape that we drew there. Beautiful. And then the head, this goes towards the inside. Poop. And we add a little bit of the cheeks. Then the rhythm between these two parts of the hair. Poop, something like this. And then we go all the way here like this. Tuki tuki, and then tuki tuki. Always trying to taper in those shapes. And then here, because I have this info, center line here, eye line, forehead, side plane. I can totally add the shapes of the character here. Image is not clear, but I can make some assumptions here on how this will look like. Just by using this structure of the head that I drew here to have something closer to the reference. Oh! Something like this. And then I can connect here the eye mask into something like this. Beautiful. I'm like a surgeon right now, working very very small, which I don't like to work this small. I like to be super gestural with the drawings of the head. But yeah, maybe it will be a good opportunity to try that on another reference image. There you go, something like this. Awesome, and then we go something like this. And then I want to improve some stuff around. Looks super cartoony, this one over here. Let me see. A little bit smaller here. There you go, that's the style. A little bit smaller and just line on top. Yep, that's better. The moment that I added that line at the bottom, it starts looking like a cartoon character, more than that realistic style of the character. So let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that. And this is all the things that I can share with this reference. That's all the things that I can share with that reference. And this is a step-by-step process, how we go from shapes, how we go from, gesture, form, all the way here to, oops, where's this flower set? Get out of here. Gesture, form, or perspective, whatever you like to call it. And then we go to gestures. Cool. Let's see more examples. Let's see more examples. So let me group all of these. Tuki. So I hope that helps, Emily. And yeah, hope that demo also helps you figure out and just analyze again your own work, because it'll be easy for me to just go like, Emily, fix here, 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 here. But giving you this demo, I think will be more helpful for you to see my thought process behind all of the drawing, so you can deconstruct this yourself and yeah, just reverse engineer what I did. Hope that helps. So let's go here to this other one. Here, cool. MH, low. So what we can do here is the following in order to see improvements, and is that be more expressive, be super loose. I'm going to even draw with this red over here. Be super loose, be super expressive. Maybe let's try to figure out and find another brush. But I would love to see on your drawing something like this. I would love to see that you go this crazy with your drawing, like this. Bam, bam, look at this. Boom, 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 boom. And then we go like this, and then we go like this. And if the drawing is too big, I make this smaller, and I continue, drawing like that. Bam, 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 bam. I continue like this, Tuki, and then from here, arm, boom, and then super, 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 super fast. Let's come up with a drawing as fast as possible, something like that. Boom. So we have something like this, and then here we have the head. Here we have the hair, because I want to see the rough pass, the rough pass for animators, or the gesture pass for people that do live drawing. Believe it or not, it's the most enjoyable part of the process, because it's the most creative one, because we can go crazy. This is the moment in which we enter this flow state, and we just draw, 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 draw. Then when we in animation, after the rough pass, when we go to tie down, it's a very tedious and very technical process, where we have to be very, 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 how would you say that, we have to be very, we have to take a lot of care in, we have to put a lot of attention into what we're doing when we're doing tie down. But when we're doing rough pass, we can go crazy, we can be super, super, super expressive. So this is the first pass that I would love to see in your drawings, which is going to be like a ghost pass, super, super, super transparent, or like with low opacity. And on top of this rough pass, on top of this ghost pass, we're going to start drawing at the gesture pass of the character. So now this directional line, we're able to put these directional lines with more confidence. The first lines with more confidence, because here I can see this is something going like this, this is something going like this, and I am in some way tracing on top of these, cloud of rhythms that I drew. And it's easier for our eye to start placing all of these lines in the proper location. Poop, there you go. See? And see how more alive it feels when I'm going and applying this ghost pass, and on top of this ghost pass I'm adding all of these energy. Boom. Here I can shrug. I want to feel this shrug. Bam. And this shrug is going all the way. Look at how I'm connecting all of these like that. Boom. Beautiful. Going like that, going like that. Boom. And from here to here, this other leg going this way, and then this is creating this other rhythm here. Boom. And then this one is creating this rhythm here. Boom. All the way here. Bam. And this is going this way too. So even this part of the shoe have rhythms, which is crazy. And then here I go like that. Boom. And then from here to here. Boom. And also, it's interesting because our lines can represent also the spirit of the pose, or the spirit of the character, I will say. Like this character is like sexy, it's like dancing, it's doing some interesting stuff. So it's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity with our lines to make our lines dance, to make our lines behave like if this were the character itself. Look at that, going this way, then the hair going that way. We have something like this. We go like that, boom, and we go like this. Tuki. Awesome. And now that I have this rough pass like this, let me just move this way. Now I can draw the entire character. I can do another rough pass with the character in order to add more details to in order to add more stuff, in order to add shapes. So here, for example, I want to push this more this way. So the head I would like to be here, around here. Boom. And then here we have the neck, the shoulder. We go all the way with the rhythm of this body like that. Look at that. I'm jumping here because I'm trying to feel the pose. Boom. Beautiful. So here we have this torso. And the way that I'm drawing the torso, I'm trying to be very accurate to what the character is doing here. I don't want to create a different shape of the torso. So this torso is telling me here this, while here I'm seeing all of these rhythms going crazy, like here, and then from here, boom, we go up, bam, knee, and then we go down here, boom, and I'm aware of the apex of this line, and it's around here. So the apex of this line is around here, took. Then I'm doing something like this, and then here we have this other line here, boop, and then we go all the way down. Cool. And then I'll continue drawing this one just to show you how I can draw this character entirely with just gesture lines. So here for example, boop, head, eye. So here eyebrow, the volcano shape here. Here we have these lips. And when I'm doing gestures on this part of the head, I like to simplify into just C lines, C lines. This shape of the teeth is also C. This is a C. Boom. Look at this. Look at this part of the hair. Beautiful rhythms, beautiful shapes. Bam. Cool. And then here. Bam. 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 And then once we move into shapes, you'll see like if this is a curve, here we can add a straight. And if we go a curve this way here, we can add here straight or an S, which I can add an S here. And then here, we go this way, and then we go this way. This way too for this finger. Boom. And then here, where is the center line? The center line is around here. It's twisting, so it's going to hide here. But that center line is going to help me to add these other shapes on top. Perspective this way, so this boop will go a little bit higher. Oopsie. There you go. And then here, so I'm just giving you some spoilers of what is what we're going to do next image, but at the same time I want to add this into this recording because I'm showing this three-step process of drawing cartoon characters, right? Boom. See, so I am sculpting this pose. Poo, 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 poo. And I'm sculpting all of these pose on top of the gestures that I drew. That's why it's so important, the gestures, because once the gesture is done, almost the entire character is done. Look at that. And the more that we replicate the feeling of the character, the essence of the character in our drawings, the more that the drawing will feel alive. It will feel like the character itself. The character right now, it feels sexy because I'm trying to design these sexy lines sculpt around the character. And this takes time. And this takes time. Is a process for everyone, and everyone's process is different. So one thing that helped me a lot in my own path is osmosis. Is looking at the artists that I really loved and seeing how they work, seeing how they draw, and eventually I was able through osmosis to inhale, to learn from all of that, from all of their tricks, from all of the way of working, in order to apply it on my own, in order to play on my own workflow. So that's why I like to do these demos, because I learn a lot. For example, drawing cartoony hands. I used to see one of my mentors that worked in Disney. He loved to draw cartoony characters, especially hands. And every time that I saw him drawing hands, I'm like, dude, he always does this thing and this thing over here and there. And then I start doing that my own, and that's something that I didn't thought too much about it, but that's something that I unlocked in my on my head once I start seeing them how that I draw. And one important thing to see also, uh, about drawing from other people is see how they draw lines, see how they move their arms, see how they move their, even though we draw from the shoulder, see how the lines come to life, and how it is that they, yeah, how is that they draw lines. See, it's very, 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 very important. So we have something like this. Okay, cool. And then the same thing that I mentioned to Emily. If we have a curve one side, this on one side, the straight on the other one, and then here we continue the flow all the way there. Bam. And then from here to here, tuki tuki, something like this, creating this shape, this form. Boom, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful design. And look at the rhythms that exist inside of here. This goes this way, then this goes this way, and then this goes this way. And not only that, if we continue the flow from here, we can go this way, and then we go this way. So even the shoe has rhythms inside, which is very beautiful. And if I draw a plumb line from here to here, I can visually see like, okay, this other leg will be around here. So I can continue drawing around here. Tuki, tuki, tuki. So yeah, highly recommend, even in your own time, in your free time, try drawing even more characters that you are submitting right now on the drawing globe challenge if you have the time, and just for fun, not just for the sake of improving, but sometimes for the sake of having fun. Just to have fun, just to experiment, to put more time. It's like this concept of pencil mileage, something like that. It's like, yeah, it's very important because the more that we draw, the more comfortable that we're going to feel with our drawing process. And at the end of the day, you will unlock or develop your own drawing process. Cool. So, and this is just me sharing how is that I experience drawing for animation. For example, here I feel like this shoulder, this arm, and the angle should be more here, so I have to move these hips a little bit more. But I don't care because I was very. I learned from this character. I was very, very, very loose. I put some time here to feel the drawing, to feel the pose, and come up with something like this. And if I push this character much more than the reference, I can always reduce the opacity and try it again and try it again to be one-on-one with the reference if I want to do so. If I just want to learn from the reference, this is enough. Let's go and see the other one over here. Tuki Tuki. There you go. This one over here. So look at this character here. Boom. I'm going to change colors. So we have something like this. Some weird thing that happens inside of my mind is that sometimes I like to pick colors. I like to pick colors that represents the character. So like a blue color for this character will not be the best. Like a red, like a pinkish color will be the best. So look, I'm going super, 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 super loose. Super, super, super loose. Super loose. And then from here to here, the head. Here we have the arms, shoulder. Oops. Boom. Cool. That's my gesture drawing. What about the hair? Boom. Awesome. There you go. That's the gesture drawing. See? So yeah, like, sorry if my is the sometimes I like to say stuff that allow you to connect more with the feeling than with the technical part of the things, because the technical part will come eventually if you put the practice. Is if everyone puts the practice, everyone can draw, everyone can animate, and that will come with time. But what happened if I just continue saying technical stuff, technical stuff, technical stuff, technical stuff, and more technical stuff? When things don't start to come together over time, people start feeling frustrated and start just giving up and just stop drawing. But drawing on itself shouldn't be just a technical stuff. Should be like a thing that you feel. Should be a thing that you experience. And if I just talk about the technical stuff and I leave the experience apart, many people will just leave this path. Many people will not pursue art as a career, or drawing or animation as a career. So it's very important for me to also communicate, to also share how is that experience drawing for animation. So even if you are not there at the technical level to represent what the character is doing, or whatever the character is doing, at least what you can take from each drawing is the experience, is the feeling of for a second, for a millisecond, experiencing what the character is experiencing, having fun with the drawing, having fun drawing lines. Because even drawing one line, look at every single line that I have here. Every line is an experience. Every line is a massage. Every line is a feeling. So here I feel here I would love to see that you grab another brush maybe and start feeling more lines, because here I'm seeing like image 1 2 3 4 5 6 lines. But with 6 lines I'm like, how is that image can have more fun here? How is that I can that can image can enjoy more this drawing? Because 6 lines, there's not much to enjoy there. I think you can have much more fun by adding more lines, by going more crazy, going more like this. So the more lines that you put down, or the more that you experiment, the more that you allow yourself to draw this character with flowing with these lines, the better experience that you'll have, and as a consequence, the better drawings that you will get. So those are the tips that I have for you. And here, if I want to add some more life into this, or some more drawings, I look. Even I was like this. No, no, no. Loosen up. So here, Tuki, we go from here to the shoulder. Bam. That's why I love to draw on paper, because on paper we just forget about all of this stuff, and yeah, we enjoy more drawing. Boom, 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 boom. See how I'm drawing this line around, 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 around. Oh, it's nice how they look at that. Look at this. It's nice how they go like this, and they boop. Instead of drawing these lines here, this boop, they represent the volume of both boops with this shape here like this, with only drawing this line here. That's interesting. So here, this part, we just play with designing shapes, and this overlapping line is already communicating that this boop exists here without having to draw this line over here, because we already have this line here, which is a really nice design decision that they took there. And then we have an S here, adding more volume there. That S here, and then from here to here we go C here, and then from here we go like this here. So we put a straight here, a straight here. Look at the dress going all the way around from here to here, and then we have this part of the leg going this way. Cool. And this is something that I love to do. Sometimes I love to sit and study the artists that I love and deconstruct their design, because something that no one told us is like, we're not only drawers, we don't only draw characters, but we also design. We design with our lines, and the design rules are there. Feels like, yeah, the design rules are there, but the creative part, this is the beautiful thing about human beings, is that the way that every human uses these design principles in a different way is what makes art beautiful. Because none of us will use the principles of design in the same way, and it feels magic. It feels like magic when we're seeing how other people use those rules, and sometimes how they destroy those rules to create characters. So when I'm drawing, I'm not only thinking on how is that I'm going to be a better draftman by studying these characters, but also how is that I'm going to become a better designer by drawing all of these characters. And that's something that we unlock by studying these old masters, is the good taste for design, because that's one of the most difficult things to achieve. I remember before being an animator, I was a graphic designer, and I used to look around my class and I'm like, dude, this person really knows how to use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and all of these tools, but fuck, how is that I if they ask me for help, it's like, how is it I can help them if they already know the software, but there's something that there's something they're not being able to do that don't understand why. I don't know how to help them because they already know the software, or I can help them with the software, but at the end they will not have these good results. And the answer was that they were lacking a good taste for design, and that's something that I could not help with, because the good taste for design, you only develop that by submerging yourself with good pieces of art, with good designs. And not many people, this is like a piercing they have here. I don't know what's happening there. I think it's the tongue out. So there you go. So that's something that I cannot help with. And the beautiful thing is like it's super, super, super manageable. Everyone can develop design skills by just maybe putting 15 days a day into drawing characters from professional designers, and learn from them, take notes on what is that stands out of that character for you, and why is that you decided to draw that character at that moment. Cool. Well, something like this, and that helps me a lot for both for design and for animation. A tip that a mentor of mine gave me once is that if you want to become a good animator, Henry, watch at least every day 15 minutes of any animation clip that you like, and over time, when once you do that over a long period of time, your animations will improve. And I didn't understood why, but I realized like it was like we developed the eye to see stuff. Our eye developed to see this new dimension of art, of animation, in a new way, and we become better designers as a consequence. I duplicate the line to make it darker. I'm going to put a cool filter, blur, Gaussian blur to make it look. Oh, look at that! And then I put a multiply. Beautiful for the thumbnail. There you go. So yeah, hope this helps. Hope this feedback helps. As you can see, I'm not 101 with the reference, but I don't care to be 101 with the reference because I'm a stallion. I'm a stallion more than just having this 101 with the reference. I'm doing more stuff. This Joe is a little bit tough. I'll leave it this way. Beautiful. Cool. So this is how I draw for animation. Hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, gesture drawing form or perspective, and then designing shapes on top. This is an adventure. Everyone's progress is different. So I hope, at least if your technical skills are not there yet, you can still experience having fun and enjoying your drawings as much as a professional can do, because we actually can. When we were kids, we were able to draw and enjoy our process of drawing when we were kids, because and we were not pro at all, because we just had fun. We just feel like we were playing instead of being overwhelmed by all the concepts that we have to learn. And that first shift is something that is going to help you be consistent with your practice and don't feel discouraged, but instead feel this inspiration of someday being able to even have more fun than the amount of fun that you're having right now. So I hope this video helps, and if you have any questions, as always, please let me know. Bye.